Here's the first one, example 1. X squared plus 3x equals 2, right? Okay, what's the first thing you need to do to solve this? That's right, so set it equal to 0, it's correct, okay? So you're subtracting 2 from both sides, set it equal to 0. Okay? Now, what you now got to figure out is what's the A, the B, and the C, which I think you guys all got this down, right? So in front of the x squared is a 1. So A is 1, B is, and C is -2. Very good, you got it. Okay, now you're going to go to the actual formula, right? And the funny, if you guys haven't noticed, the formula's up here, right? You can see it over there. You know, we got, oh no, it's on this, I'm sorry. It's over here on this poster, right? We got all sorts of things all flying around the room in case you forget the formula. Okay? Oh, there it is right there, right. It's on that poster too. All right, so here, negative b, how much is negative b? Negative 3 is correct, negative 3. Plus or minus the square root. Okay, now b squared, how much is 3 squared? 9. Okay, now negative 4 times a, 1, times c, negative 2. What did you get?
Positive 8 because it's a positive number.
It's 8. So it's 8, it's correct. Okay, divided by 2 times a, which is 1. So how much is that? 2. Okay, so everybody understands so far what's happened. Just take the numbers and put them in. Okay, now, how much is 9 plus 8? 17. Okay, so now you get this. Okay, everybody good so far? Okay, now, the square root of 17. Can you simplify the square root of 17? No, you cannot. It's a prime number, right? Okay, so is that the answer?
Well, yes.
That's the answer then. So you got the answer. Okay, everybody good so far? There's your answer.
You wouldn't be able to go negative 3 divided by 7.
But you can, okay? All right, so now, what you're seeing on the homework as you look at your answers, right? Some of you guys are getting confused by some of the answers you're seeing. Okay, so some of you guys are seeing this happening. And once again, this is what Mr. Kinney does. And once again, to get you ready to go to calculus one day, right? So what he says is this. Look, there's another way to write this answer. Here's negative 3. Negative 3 is being divided by 2. So he writes down negative 3 over 2, right? Then plus or minus. All right, now that 2 also has to go into the square root of 17. So he says, and then it's the square root of 17 over 2. So this is another way you can write the answer. But the thing is, with me, you can write it this way, the second way, and I just wrote it up there, or you can just write it this way, where it's all combined. They're both the same answer. But like I said, when some of you guys come in for help on the homework, right? Okay, all right, so now, look, the square root of 0 is how much? 0. All right, so does it make sense to you? I'm going to take 30 and I'm going to add 0 and I'm going to subtract 0 from them. So does it make sense to you that 0 just basically kind of melts away? Make sense? Yeah. It just goes away. Right, total sense. Okay, it's like, oh yeah, you're not going to exist anymore. So then the answer comes out being what? Okay, 30 over 50, which reduced is 3/5. You got it. And there's one answer. There's one answer only. It's 3/5. Okay? All right, let's go to the third one now. Here's example 3. All right, now that's the first thing I do. Subtract the 5, right? Okay, so we're going to get negative x squared plus 4x minus 5 equals 0. Okay? Okay, now how much is the A? Negative 1. How much is the B? 4. How much is the C? Negative 5. Okay, all right, so here we go again. Okay, so negative B is how much? Negative 4. Okay, plus or minus square root. Okay, now B squared is, say it, 16. Okay, 16. Okay, now negative 4 times A, negative 1, times C, negative 5. How much is that? Negative 20. Okay, negative 20. Okay, over 2 times A, negative 1. So how much is that? Negative 2. Okay, you're correct. Okay, now how much is 16 minus 20? negative 4. Okay, so you're going to get this. Negative 4 plus or minus square root negative 4 over negative 2. All right, here we go. Okay, if it's square root of negative 4, what kind of answers we're going to get? I's imaginary, right? Okay, all right, so what's the square root of negative 4? 2i, right, 2i. Once again, if you guys have been doing that homework, okay, you guys know that. So negative 4 plus or minus 2i over negative 2. Okay, and here we go. Is there a number that will go into negative 4, 2, and negative 2? Okay, now the answer is 2, but better yet, the answer should probably be negative 2. Let's do negative 2, okay? So look, negative 2 goes into negative 2 one time. Negative 2 goes into negative 4 2 times. Negative 2 goes into negative 2 one time. Say again. Say again. Negative 1 time. Negative 1 time, right? Okay, so what's your answer going to come out being? 2 plus or minus 2 plus or minus negative 1i or negative I is right. There you go. You got it. There you go. You got it. That's it. And the 1 on the bottom just melts away, right? Because it's just anything over 1 is what the numerator is, right? And there you go. There is this b squared minus 4ac, okay, which is called the discriminant. All right, the discriminant does not have the square root. It just has all the numbers inside of the square root, right? Okay, which is what is called the radicand. Okay, is what they call it. All right. So here's the thing: the number inside the square root in turn tells you the kind of answers you will get. So look at this, and this little graph over here to show you all this, a little table. All right, look at this. If the number inside the square root is a positive number, then what are you going to get as an answer? Okay, you're going to get 2 real answers, 2 real solutions. And you guys just saw that on the previous page. If the number inside the square root is the number 0, what are you going to get as answers? 1 real solution, right? There will only be 1. And if the number inside the square root is a negative number, right? Okay, you're going to get 2 imaginaries, right? You'll get 2 imaginaries. That's correct. Okay. All right, now, what does it look like as a graph? And this makes sense. We've talked about this before. If you graph this quadratic, the graph, and it's a positive number inside the square root, the graph would come down like this and hit the x-axis 2 times. And these would be your answers, right? These are the roots. They're real answers that exist. If the number was 0, right, if the number was 0 inside the square root, it would come down and hit the x-axis, but only 1 time right there. In other words, you just go boop, and it bounces back off it, right? So there's only 1 real solution. And if it was a negative number inside the square root, right, then this parabola will never hit the x-axis, which tells you it's imaginary. Okay, so everybody good so far? Everybody understand what happens as far as the graph goes? The quadratic equation, and give the number and type of solutions for it. This is real easy for the equation. It's real easy to do. Okay, now look, the discriminant is this. B squared minus 4ac. That's the discriminant, right? Okay, now tell me this. Here's a 1 in front of this. How much is the A? 1. How much is the B? Negative 8. How much is the C? 17. Okay, so tell me this. How much is B squared going to be? 64. Good. How much is negative 4 times A, 1, times C, 17? Try again. Negative 16. Negative 68. Okay, how much is 64 minus 68? Negative 4. That's the discriminant. Okay, the discriminant is negative 4. Okay, so if the discriminant is negative 4, what kind of answer solutions will you get? 2 imaginary, right? And you're going to write down 2 imaginary. Okay, that's what you write down. You see, it's real easy to do this. That's what you're going to get. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, b squared minus 4ac. Okay, how much would b squared be? Try again. 64, right, 64. Okay, how much is negative 4 times a1 times c, 16? Say again? Negative 64.
Oh, yeah,
Correct. Negative 64. How much is 64 minus 64? 0. Okay, so that's the discriminant. 64 is the discriminant, right? Okay, all right, now, what kind of answers are you going to get? One real, like you write down the words, one real, okay? One real solution is what you're getting, okay? Okay, let's look at the third one, okay? Here's b squared minus 4ac. Okay, how much is b squared? Say 64, 64. How much is negative 4 times, okay, let's see this. How much is negative 4 times a1 times c, 15?
Minus 60.
Okay, negative 60, minus 60, right? Okay, how much is 64 minus 60? 4. It's 4, okay. All right, so what kind of solutions are we going to get here? 2 real, and you just write the words 2 real, right? That's it. You got it.